Greetings, it's me, Oberon, here once again to give you your emotional exchanges. Hi, and I'm back once again. We're here at the TFT Esoteric Library broadcasting this week's edition of Oberon's Outlook on the Emotional Exchanges. And that's a weekly tarot forecast for the astrological signs separated by or ordered by their elemental association. And so this is just a quick review of what kind of emotional currents or undercurrents or situations with friendships or relationships you might expect. And this is for this week, starting today, Friday, and that's March 6th, and that goes through next Thursday, March 12th. So without ado, we're going to get started right away. And we like to remember that I always like to remember Isis when I start these readings, and of course known by her sign, the Ankh. So once again, we're doing the air signs first, and the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And so we start off by pulling a word of the week for them, and so I've done that blind as usual. And so their word of the week is testimony. And testimony mostly implies being truthful, being accurate. You are giving sort of a sort of deposition or something that is being put into an actual notation for record. So keep that word in mind with your week's dealings in the emotional realms, you air signs, because that would seem to be one of the hallmarks here is in representation with all of your emotional situations. You want to be accurate. You want to be able to be relied upon and understood. So now I'm going to go ahead and do that reading. Pull my 3 cards for you guys. I'm shuffling over here. And I'm making my cut. All right, and what do we have? Okay. That's not too bad. I'm just going to lay those out. We have Major Arcana 1, the Magician. And then we have Major Arcana 21, the World. And then we have the Ten of Wands. And that's upright. And I think for our air signs this week, this card says that from that emotional point of view, you're going to be really directive. You're going to be having to order things, use your energy and your creative talents to create order. And maybe there's something chaotic going on. It is Mercury retrograde after all. But maybe because of the situation, people will have to maintain some sort of emotional calm. And of course, I'm almost drawn to suggest that this has something to do with the coronavirus, which is really current all over the nation and the world. So I'm hoping everybody can keep their head. But, some of us have to rise more. And that's what this card seems to imply to me. And so once again, testimony is very accurate word here because we're trying to order a world that maybe is nearly on the bridge of chaos. And so hopefully you air signs will be able to help all of us with that, including yourselves. But I would draw your attention to that final card, the Ten of Wands, and I would suggest that this means that there are some implications for how order actually is enacted. And I wouldn't say anything necessarily, but it does sort of look like something more regimentated. Maybe quarantine might have to be activated. Maybe there'll have to be some really strong, and I see my druidic robe is slipping away from me. I want it to look so druidic. Oh, well. Anyway, it's not about what I look like, right? But so that's what I see there for the air signs. So yes, heated emotions over all of these kind of things here. Those cards are larger than life, let me tell you. Okay, so we're going to move on now. And we are moving on to the fire signs. Fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And so we have also pulled a word of the week for them. And that word of the week is veneration. So keep that word and week in mind, veneration. Fire signs, maybe consider what is holy, what needs to be revered in your life. Maybe align yourself on those emotional aspects this week. I guess it's really saying, that, we're going to have to pray. Goodness gracious, I just don't know what I'm doing here. I'm not really used to wearing hoods, but it was some sort of bad hair day, and, here I am. So anyways, let's get on with our reading for the air signs, and I think, find a way to express yourselves spiritually in all of your emotional situations. Keep love alive, keep holiness alive. And in a moment, we're going to see what kind of situations are going on for you, fire signs. So I'm going ahead to cut the cards. And I'm drawing them. This is what we have. We have the Six of Wands reversed. We have a King of Swords upright. It's a good card for fire signs, I suppose. And we have the counterpart, the Queen of Swords. Fire signs, usually you are fiery. So sometimes, it is possible to see the potential for more emotional outburst, or for some of those other shadings of emotionality that move towards anger, the red hot quotient. So here's what I see here is that maybe there is something going on. It's possibly in the array of your emotional relationships. So it could also pertain perhaps to your career or situations like that, where maybe you have strong friendships there or more. The Six of Wands reversed may signify that you're feeling neglected in certain ways, or that you're having to give more away to those who maybe are not appreciative as much. And from this point of view, it may look to me like some of this is about decisions that are being made wherever this is happening at. Decisions that mostly would be coming from a fair point of view, but really you have that question of whether or not you're going to be able to do the right thing. The Queen of Swords maybe pretends the idea that there is more to understand and more to really discern for a variety of parts that are involved in that. So there's a little bit of nebulosity there for me. So I am thinking that if this comes down to legal situations, keep that veneration. You don't have to worship a lawyer or a judge, but maybe you have to keep in mind what you have to do in respecting those forces. So I'm going to leave you guys with that, and we're going to move on to the water signs. I've abandoned any pretense that I can hide my hair with the hood I was wearing. So we're just going to struggle through this. So water signs are signs like Cancer and Scorpio and Pisces. And so they tend to be amongst the more emotional of signs. They may let emotions or things like heartfelt feelings really rule their personality and or how they react to the world. We're going to give them the word of the week. And the word of the week comes from the Hanged Man, and that is self-sacrifice. And so water signs really need to attune themselves to the idea that sometimes they really do have to think about what the better the situation is and what more can be done, either from that personal point of view or from where you actually do express where your emotions go towards those you care about the most or not. So you may have to make sacrifices or consider what is the wise and prudent thing to do with that. And to me, in this particular season that of things that are going on here in the USA, primary campaigns, I see a lot of emotionality. And I see a lot of people maybe having to come to terms with acceptance. And maybe some of us water signs just need a little bit more of a reminder that you have to consider the pragmatic point of view. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those now. And we're drawing our cards. Oh. Okay, and what we have for water signs are the Nine of Cups reversed, the Queen of Cups reversed, and the Prince of Cups upright. Wow, what a helpful or handy hand for the water signs. Well, remember, I said this reading is for Friday, March 2nd through next Thursday. That's the 12th. So that encompasses, some of our areas, primary that I just mentioned. I'm just going to say that with the Nine of Cups reversed, there's going to be a sense of we didn't get our wish. We didn't get something we really wanted. Maybe we realized that thing that we wanted wasn't really going to be very helpful. The Queen of Cups, maybe this is telling us that maybe we have to really examine what we felt intuitively here too, because maybe it really was something that we let ourselves not understand, that we got overly imaginative about. And finally, with the Prince of Cups upright though, that is the idea that maybe to some degree we have to look within again and understand our own mystic view of life, our own intuitive view of life, whether we're really that kind of person or not. We may have some inner sense of a personal philosophy, personal mantra, personal way to be affirmative in life. Sometimes it's just that person that maybe they're annoying, but maybe they always say, have a blessed day. Well, maybe some of us are like that too. We might say that differently, but maybe that's what we have to look into, is that more, a little bit of a philosophical, poetic view of life. So keep that in mind. Keep also in mind too that sometimes we have to give up for the greater good. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. It's true. So that's what we had for the water signs. We're going to move on finally, at last, to our earth signs. There they are, the earth signs. And earth signs are signs like Taurus and Virgo and Capricorn. And as an earth-based sign, they will usually be a little bit more reticent in their display of emotions. They may shoulder that more inside. They may just be considered more stoic to some people. This also applies, like any of the other signs, to those who have more of those qualities in their chart because of it being their moon sign or their rising sign, or a particular planet is fixed there somehow, that kind of thing. So those who maybe have a lot of earthy elements in their chart, that would be moi, they may be somewhat this way too. At any rate, here's our word of the week. And the word of the week comes from the star, which is the major arcana 17. And of course, that word of the week is hope. Keep hope alive. Look for that which inspires you. Always kind of try to see the most wondrous and numinous things in life. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle our cards and arrive at our final reading. And I want to draw your attention to our stream schedule. You can catch us live twice a week at the times indicated below, which are Eastern Standard Time. And if you like this presentation, check out some of the other things on our YouTube channel. Give us a like, leave us a comment, share it if you will. Banshee, my counterpart in the TFT arena, has recently done Soul Stories with another one on the way in about a week. And we're also hoping to keep other content going, but we are live twice a week. And we also do a tarot card every day for every day on our Facebook page as well as on our Twitter. So you can check those out too. And thank you again for checking this out with us. So I'm going to go ahead and draw those final cards for the earth signs. Okay, here we go. We have the Prince of Wands, and that one is reversed. We have the Three of Swords upright. And we have an Eight of Swords upright. And I get the feeling that it may be possible that some of our fire signs will actually undergo some deep sense of a rejection within a relationship or a friendship. It may be that you yourself will find that there are reasons for you to reject this situation, or maybe you are that one being rejected. It could be talking about breakups. It could be talking about severe misunderstandings. Some of this is rooted in the fact of the Three of Swords is talking about some sort of separation or sorrow in and of itself, perhaps. And the Eight of Swords talks about the inability to move forward from this. And so this is painful for earth signs because they're not used to maybe being so emotional. Yet I'm still seeing that star there that indicates some hope for them. I'm just hoping that they have to also take the time to look into themselves and see where that hope lies, how they move on. Maybe they are moving on without necessarily knowledge of where they're going. It's a struggle. And sometimes that happens from deep rejection. You just have to move away from it. Fire signs really are going to have to look into their hope when this situation arises for them. If you just know somebody else that's involved in that, if you are doing that to another person, you may want to consider how you can really break up in a better way. Those kind of things. Be kind. So that's what I have for earth signs. I'm sorry, and I was looking at the Prince of Wands, but we are talking about the earth signs this week. That is a strong fire energy, the element of distrust there. So I just want to clarify that. Still, for everyone, no matter what's going on in your world, in your relationships, tune in to Oberon's Outlook on the Emotional Exchanges next Friday. That's Friday the 13th. And always, as I said, do be kind. Bye for now.